Welcome back, everyone. Here we are for part 6 of our Kaldheim limited set review, looking at the green cards as we've been doing. We're going to run through commons, uncommons, rares. Within each of those, we're sorting by CMC, and we are grading things not on the letter grade scale, but on the 5 Rs, looking at things with raw power, reasons, rewards, role players, and replaceables, and perhaps even rubbish sometimes. In those middle 3 Rs, we're going to be giving subcategory grades, like if it's a reason to be maybe just a color pair, archetype, that type of deal. So why don't you kick us off here with our first card in green?
Yeah, we got Jasper Sentinel. So it's a single green mana for an elf rogue. It's a 1/2 reach, and it says tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. So we've seen these types of cards before, and they've never been good. Just like tapping an additional creature is such a huge cost, right?
Yeah.
There's just better ways to fix. Elf is a thing, right? Mm-hmm. That matters, but I don't think the elf payoffs in this set are so good that you're just gonna want to jam anything that says elf on it into your deck. So I'm gonna give this replaceable, might even be rubbish level if we're gonna start to use that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next is Snakeskin Veil, single green, move over Ranger's Guile. It's an instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until end of turn.
A little upgrade on Ranger's Guile, right? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, you're gonna play this in likely out of the sideboard if you're playing best of 3. Right. But you can play it in the main. It's like not an offensive card as a combat trick. I wonder, this is kind of a little bit of theory crafting too, that I wonder if there's like my little hawk, the 1/2 first strike flying. I wonder if there's like an aura deck that this
a little boggles action.
A little boggles, yeah.
That's interesting. That makes me so that's cool. This is still like this is role player in that deck and you'll get it late. My guess is this is just replaceable to start, but that's a cool thing to keep your eye out for sure.
It's kind of interesting too. Like, so how close is this to Blossoming Defense? It's worked because it can't win combats as reliably, right?
Right, but leaving behind a counter is big. Like, I don't know, the trade-off of +2/+2 until end of turn versus get a counter for good.
This might just be like a fine main deck card.
Yeah, maybe it's just role player in green.
Just a role player.
First copy.
Yeah, I'd say this is a fine role player in green.
All right.
Yeah, not super excited, but I think it's gonna be a little bit better than it looks. All right, Arac Uniform is next. So this is 1 and a green. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has reach and is every creature type.
Hold on, I want to go back. Is this card just Karametra's or what was the trick from M21?
Oh, Karametra's Blessing? Yeah, Karametra's Blessing. That's
not Karametra's Blessing, right? What's the Feat of Resistance? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Oh, Feat of Resistance?
This is just Feat of Resistance, right?
Well, no.
For 1 mana.
Because feet mattered in combat a lot, too.
Right, I guess you couldn't just make something unblockable.
Yeah, can't make something unblockable, can't have an aura fall off, can't just win a combat.
Okay.
This is reasonably worse.
Okay. You talked me down. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but so this next one. Let's read it again just for how I'm feeling. Arac Uniform, 1 and a green, Enchantment Aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has reach, and is every creature type.
No, that's what I say.
In the little bird deck, put it on the bird. +2/+2 on your flyer, protected everything. No, this is so it's weird that green.
You may be onto something here with this Boggles deck though, which I'm kind of excited about.
It could, the thing too. It could just be on just white cards. It doesn't have to be like, green white specifically. It'd be like blue white. Anyways, maybe that's a conversation for next week.
Yeah.
But the thing with green's commons is interesting to note is that like they are half snow ramp stuff and half like combat tricks and augmenting things. Like it's really strange, and this is kind of a card that is obviously the latter half of that. Mm-hmm. Like at a base level, you can't possibly give this card anything more than replaceable, right? I don't know. This isn't even like a sideboard card. You're not gonna like bring this in against flyers or anything.
Yeah, I'm out. I said this when this card was spoiled. It's so awkward that like this is an inherently aggressive card, but granting it reach is wild. Like that,
right?
That's so bizarre to me. Like Like we usually see flying, haste, like even seeing nothing would make more sense to me than seeing reach as text on this card. This is very confusing. This is replaceable.
It's pure upside, but it does look a bit
Yeah,
strange.
exactly.
Yeah, you're fairly replaceable.
Next up, I don't know. I don't know why I find these effects desirable. Guardian Glade Walker, 1 and a green, 1/1 changeling. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I mean, this. We've got the guild's curve of Healer's Hawk into Iron Shell Beetle here.
Ooh, look at that! Look at that! It's already forming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a fine card. I think this is gonna this is a card that it's gonna be obvious when you want it. I think like when you want a cheap changeling.
Yeah.
Right. You're not gonna really want this card. Otherwise, mm-hmm. I think this card was good once upon a time. Just the Iron Shell Beetle type card, mm-hmm. right? And I think it's kind of grown out of being a generically good card. But when you do want the changeling, you don't want the cheap changeling.
Yeah,
I think the role player in some decks.
Role player in some decks. I kind of just want to name it replaceable, honestly.
Yeah, sure. You're replaceable in some. Yeah, I could buy that too. All right, next up we got Masked Vandal. So this is 1 and a green for a shapeshifter. It's a 1/3. It's a changeling. When Masked Vandal enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. This
is again. Look at the amount of text on this like pretty bad common. Like
yeah.
This is
it's not great then, right?
What's that?
You think it's not great?
I think it's actually pretty. I think it's still replaceable, but yeah. I when it nabs something, and the fact I think this is really like a pretty big boon for best of one that you get access. Like you can put this in your card and have access to put this card in your deck and have access to main deck artifact enchantment removal when you care about the 2-mana 1/3 or shapeshifter part of this card. But I still think this is just replaceable.
Yeah, like I do think this is a set with higher than average targets, right? Like you can nab vehicle and equipment. So like that's a plus for the card, but at the same time, like 1/3 is kind of a yikes. Changeling is nice, but it's not like I think one of the things to note about changeling too is like I kind of like I was talking about with the elf, like the payoffs aren't such where it's like you're just gonna jam everything that says X in your deck, right? That's not what the payoffs in this set are.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. So like changing is gonna matter for some number of your decks, right? But it's not just like ooh, inherently valuable. Mm-hmm. So I agree. I think this is replaceable. I think you can play it. I think it's gonna be a fine card, but you're gonna have a target. It's still not something I'm actively looking to play.
Yeah. Next up is Roots of Wisdom, 1 and a green for a sorcery. Mill 3 cards, then return a land or elf card from your graveyard to your hand. If you can't, draw a card.
Yeah, so I actually kind of like this card. This is weird because like normally you don't really love this style of card, mm-hmm. but it does a lot of small things. So like there's the self-mill theme, mm-hmm. like the small incidental self-mill theme. This is more grapple with the past than it is
Tracker's Instinct.
Yeah, Tracker's Instinct, or what's it called? The one from Zendikar, Adventure Awaits or whatever. Yeah. It's more grapple with the past.
That's pretty sweet late game. If you have elves or changelings that are good.
Right. Like this is the caveat if you need elves. Like grapple with the past. For those who don't know, it was from Eldritch Moon. That set cared about cards being in the graveyard, different types being in the graveyard. So it did a lot of things. But being able to just go late game buy exactly like you said. Late game buy something back is really nice. Sometimes you just cast it. You keep a 2-lander. You're very likely to hit your land either from this or from the next thing. Mm-hmm. The next thing you draw. So you can keep 2 landers with this.
Right. They could essentially 4 shots at a land.
Yeah, I think this is like just a step above of these corpse turns / all these cards we just named. I still don't think it's like a role player by any means. It's definitely replaceable, but I'm like more inclined to be like, okay, well, like this is probably going to be better than. Maybe my draft didn't go like fantastically. This is going to be better than my like next worst card. Like I'm probably more likely to play this in my elf deck than the changeling we just saw.
Yeah, all told, this is replaceable.
Yeah, totally. I just want to point out that it's like ever so slightly better.
All right, here we go. Sculptor of Winter, 1 and a green, 2/2, snow creature, elf rogue, tap, untap target snow land.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. So I'll let you take this one. You guys were really excited about this on the podcast. I'm a little bit less excited, I think. But I'll hear your claims.
I love this. Alex is like, I don't like this card. Ethan obviously likes this card. I'll let him talk about it, and
No,
then
I
I'll tell
know
him why
you
he's
like
wrong.
it.
What's
I
that?
literally know you like it.
I know. So you're like, I don't like it, so I'll let him talk about why he likes it.
It's not like so. Okay, let me rephrase that. It sounds like I'm setting you up to be like but actually, Ethan, you're wrong. I'm not like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm actually saying like I'm less excited about this card. I'd love to be excited about it.
I think generally the mana dorks in a limited environment are the best green common. Sometimes that's not the case. Drew to the Cowl didn't quite cut it in Kaladesh. Yeah, it's not Rhyme Tender from Modern Horizons because it doesn't untap a snow permanent. We will see there's like an enchant land thing that turns the land into a snow land and will ramp you. So that comboing with this is pretty nuts. I just think ramp is good. It's what green doesn't get to do many things well in limited these days.
Yeah,
ramping is one of them. Fixing is one of them. This isn't fix, but double fixing, whatever. Types matters less to me in this card. It being an elf, I am more excited about this I would classify it as a reward for being in a snow deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you mentioned, the enchantment glittering frost, I think is what we're gonna get to soon.
Mm-hmm.
That does excite me as far as this card goes. Is like that's a nice little 1-2 punch, burst of mana. You get your mana back basically right away. Not quite, but yeah, I think it's just my lack of enthusiasm just comes from I think I'm just lower on mana dorks than I think most people in limited generally. I tend not to personally take the 2 mana dorks as highly as most people. I think here's what it comes down to. I think there are decks that are the mana dorks really good in, but they're not generically good in every deck, which is fine. You don't have to be generically good in every deck. But I do think this is exactly how you framed it, right? A snow payoff.
Here's the other thing specifically about this card that I want to point out is that if we're framing it not as the green mana dork, but as a reward for being in a snow deck, which I think is the correct way to think about it. Snow specifically, more than just green ramp, Snow specifically has a ton of places to put mana.
Yes, exactly.
There are a ton of activated abilities when you are in a snow deck. And so it's not like you're going to be going, cool, I play my 4-drop early and my 5-drop early and I'm done. This is going to have applications for the entire game.
And that's what I'm looking for. Totally, 100%. I can totally get on board with that. I'm going to be optimistic with this one. I'm going to give it what you gave it. And I totally agree.
Sweet.
All right, next card up here.
Broken Wings. Tuna green, instant, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying.
Yada, 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 we don't... Same old song and dance. Yeah, we don't have to spend too much time on this one. I don't even feel like talking about there's slightly less, it's just... We know at this point. If you know, you know.
Here we go. Glittering Frost.
Yeah, Glittering Frost. This is the card we were talking about. So this is 2 green for a snow enchantment aura, enchant land. Change land is snow. Whenever land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. So, really great combo with the untapped card. But also, this creates 2 snow permanents, which is nice, and turns any land into snow.
Yeah. Very, I am still think green is probably trash. But I am hopeful. It doesn't feel like this set is hyper aggro to me right now. I'm feeling like with Foretell, I think you might be able to spend a turn to cast Glittering Frost.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, the past few times, I know Amonkhet was one of them. I can't remember the other one, but the past few times when they were talking about the design of the set, and they said this set was too slow, so we added an aggressive mechanic. The aggressive mechanic just completely took over. Basically,
that's Boast here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be Boast, but that happened here, right? That happened with they added Boast because they were worried that things were gonna be too slow. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it just reminds me of that potentially happening. So I hope you're right. I hope there's a good balance.
It's also just very cool that this is snow, and this then creates another snow permanent for you. This feels like it's gonna be key card for snow decks, I think.
And like you said, I think there are like you're not just gonna be 2-color snow a lot of the time. You're gonna be Teamer or Sultai, I think, right? So yeah, I'm gonna give this a solid role player.
Yeah, I'm going hyper hopeful and saying it's a reward for snow.
Okay.
Not a reason, obviously, but yeah, a reward for snow, but probably closer to role player.
Sweet. That sounds good. All right, next up.
Nutvold Recluse. Tuna green for a 4/2 spider with reach.
Yeah, this is good. This is actually a good spider.
Yeah.
Spider's got bite time.
Spider's got bite. I mean, yeah, it's weird.
I think if you don't think of this as a spider, it looks a lot better. Like, I think we're like so predisposed.
I'm like, where's my 1/4?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because so the nice thing is that this trades with the 3/3 flyers, right? It doesn't bounce off / lose to a combat trick. So that's cool. Ultimately, this feels replaceable to me.
It trades with all of the angels in the set.
Trades with the angels. That's true.
Many angels. Yeah. This is replaceable, but like this is like a spider I'm like a little bit more excited about than the other spiders that we usually see.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm probably there are, like I said, I think there is like this weird split between the aggressive green cards and the controlling or the rampy green cards, and like if you are like a green-white deck, maybe this is that at home there, but like nothing more than replaceable. So, yep, I think we're on pretty much the same page with that one, right?
Yeah.
All right, up next. Ooh, this is kind of an interesting one to talk about. So this is Horizon Seekers. Is 2 and a green for a 3/2 human warrior. Boast. I think this is our only green boast card. 1 and a green. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand.
I like this card. I like this card as a role player. But now we've got 2 ways to fix at common for green so far, and 2 ways to snow from to get snow from non-snow stuff.
Yeah, I like this card just because. So, like, I think there's you look at this card and you're thinking in your like snow rampy deck. There's like a little bit of a tension where you're like, I don't really want to be attacking necessarily.
But then this blocks fine, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It blocks fine. 3/2 blocks fine, right? So that's a great little split card if you want to put it that way.
Sure.
So do you like this card? Role player in your green decks?
Role player in green. I think it's looking like we're seeing what green like. The things that are sticking out as non-replaceable in our spreadsheet are few so far.
Right.
They seem to be ramping and snowing.
Yeah.
So next up is Icehide Troll. 2 and a green for a 2/3 snow creature troll warrior. And it has activation of Snow. It gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
It's Prickly Marmoset.
I mean, kind of. Snowy Marmoset.
Yeah. It's weird. Well, it's not that weird, but it's like a snow creature and you think snow ramp, but like there's also like I think this is one of the better aggressive green creatures. This is it's weird because in the draft, you're not often going to be at a point where like you have enough snow to reasonably activate this, like that you want to prioritize it highly enough where you're like, I want snow to turn this card on, but also be in an aggressive green deck that you want this card. I mean, you don't have to be in an aggressive green deck, but I think that's where it excels.
It's interesting. I don't think of this as a hyper aggro card.
No, neither do I. I just think that like that's where I'm maxing on it. I just think like, so you're thinking of it maybe as a good defensive card.
It's a speed bump. Yeah, it's a speed bump as a 3-mana 2/3, and then if I ever get to have 2 snow up, like
yeah,
it's an insane blocker, and then also at some point it's just an insane attacker.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sold. You sold me.
I think this is a reward to be snow.
Yeah, you sold me.
All right. Wow.
Awesome.
What do we got next?
Yeah, next up we've got King Harold's Revenge. Harold is just a weird name for like this elf.
I know.
Like, anyways.
Yeah, it's not spelled like it, but there's no way to say it other than like Harold.
Yeah. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control, and gains trample and must be blocked this turn to table. Huh. So it's powerful. Like this is a powerful effect. Being in a deck that can utilize it, I'm not as sure. Like this is a good payoff for your green white go wide deck that might exist. Right?
I don't see it. So far, I have not looked at the green cards in detail, but
Yeah.
from what we've seen, this seems to be antithetical to the rest of what green is doing.
Mhm.
I just don't see it.
I think this card it's really good with the card we just saw.
Sure, but that card doesn't feel like it needs help.
Yeah. But well, I mean, like it's a combo with that, right? It's not like this card needs help. It's just
It must be. It basically says your opponent blocks it with their their crappiest creature, which they were already gonna do probably.
Right. It's not lure. Yeah. Okay.
I think.
I'm less excited about the card. I do think that in like a really and I don't think this deck exists very often. And if it does, it's at uncommon. But if you do have a lot of things that go wide, like this is actually like a good effect. It's a desirable effect, but you're not going to get there very often, and it's not a card you're going to put in basically any green deck.
Yeah.
Or many green decks, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're putting.
I said replaceable for me. I'm looking. That is not an effect. I leave that effect to the Ryan Saxes and the Alex Nikolics of the world, and I'll stick with my ramping and derping. All right, Mammoth Growth is next. Tuna green instant. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn, and it has Foretell for a single green.
So, do you like this card?
I do. I like the first copy. And it's weird because, again, I don't care about this in my ramp decks, and if that's what green is primarily doing, I don't care about this. If there is some kind of green beatdown deck, or a green deck that wants a combat trick, I like this a lot. Or like the first copy a lot, at least. The first copy feels like a role player to me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just a role player common.
Yeah, role player and green aggro.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we've got Elderleaf Mentor. This is 3 and a green for a 3/2 elf warrior. When it enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. We saw this, not too long ago in white in Ikoria with the Daybreak Marshal, right?
Just that card was always better than you thought it was, I think.
Yeah, me too. And
annoying.
For cards that care about elves, which again is not too many cards to be honest.
But the fact this makes 2 bodies is nice.
Yeah, I think this is like a role player. I don't know, might just be replacement, right?
I think it's role player and elves. I think
role player and elves.
I think role player and elves is where you're most excited about this. Okay, let's talk about this. Serulf's Packmate, or Serulf. 3 and a green for a 3/3 wolf. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and has Foretell for 1 and a green.
So you want to lead this one?
Well, it's just, I'm a one-trick pony. If you listen to me on the podcast, I'm going to say the same things here. We were kind of hot and bothered for Jarrah Visionary in Zendikar Rising. And that card was not good. I think at the end of the day, you would call that card replaceable / role player in defensive decks. This having an extra point of toughness, that's a pretty big boon. This having Foretell, that's another boon in this card's favor. I still don't know if that's going to add up to a card that is that good. I'm going to start by saying yes. This is maybe this is green's best common. I don't know.
My take on it is that the extra toughness in the Foretell matters a lot, and I think this is green's best common. Yeah,
that's where I'm going to start as well. I still feel like this isn't a reason to draft green. I think this is a reward for drafting green.
It's kind of funny because I think it might be a reason to draft green if green was just had more powerful cards, right? Because you'd be like, oh, here's a good way to get into green to get more powerful cards. But I think it's more, oh, cool. Green might be a little bit open. I can move in, I like the card, though, a lot, though. I think it's really, really good. I think it is markedly better than Jarrah Visionary.
I mean, this still works. If my thought is what green does best is snow ramp, I am thrilled to go turn 2 mana dork, turn 3 this.
Right, yeah, you can do that too. Or this is actually a card I'm like not too upset about foretelling on 2 as well. I'm just casting it on 3.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
Right?
also a totally
Yeah, I like
fine.
this card a lot.
Yeah.
This might even just be
A reason.
a reason for me. Yeah, I think so. I would put
You
this
want
in
to start
reason
reason? I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down to start
I'm
reason.
I'm
Okay.
gonna start reason on this one.
Cool.
All right, next up we got Struggle for Skempfar. So this is 3 and a green for sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then that creature fights up to one target creature you don't control. So it's Hunt the Weak, but it has
Ooh.
Foretell for a single green.
Oh my god, it's a reduction.
Yeah, it's a reduction.
I didn't think we got those really. That's great.
Yeah, they really wanted to boost up Hunt the Weak, basically.
This seems good. This seems rewardy, perhaps reasony, but definitely rewardy at least.
I'm going to call this more rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit lower on this effect than I think the rest of the world. For my money, I'm going to give it a reward, but it's a good card. Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is Grizzled Outrider, 4 and a green for a 5/5 elf warrior with flavor text.
It's large.
Definitely large. But the thing is, for sad news for green, everything is large these days. Red has a 5-mana 5/4.
Yeah.
With boast.
Yeah.
Red has a 5-mana 5/4 with upside.
But the types, Ethan. But the types.
I know the types.
This is that lone vanilla that I was talking about. There's no.
Oh, is this the only one? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways,
this is replaceable.
This is replaceable.
Replacement level.
All right, take us home.
Yeah, last one here. Ooh, Ravenous Honey Mammoth. Ravenous Lindworm. 4 green. It's a worm. It's a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 6 life. So it's just Honey Mammoth.
Yeah. It's interesting. Honey Mammoth wasn't replaceable at the end of the day in Ikoria.
Well, Honey Mammoth was the card that, like, it was like, ooh, we can maybe scrap something together to make a decent deck out of green in Ikoria. It was just like the makeshift finisher that you picked up and you realized was like kind of good because the rest of the green kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
So nothing I'm excited about, but I can see this having a place.
Yeah, I'm going to start with replaceable. I'm sure Ben will want to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Our first uncommon here is Blizzard Brawl. Single green for a snow sorcery. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Then those creatures fight each other. So it's prey upon at its base level. Then if you have 3 snow permanents, your creature gets +1/+0 and indestructible.
This is good.
Yeah.
All right. I like this card a lot. Yeah, I think this is a solid reward for being green.
It's interesting. This versus the common fight spell.
I would assume this is better. And if I had to say so pick one, pack one. If I see them in a pack, I'm taking this one. But I could obviously see some drafts where the Hunt the Weak variant is just a better card because you just don't have snow.
Exactly, but I just feel like it feels like green and snow are synonymous to me at the moment.
I don't think so. So I think base green decks are more likely to be snow decks, but I think green as a support color. I think if you're green white, you're going to be green, heavy white green, right? If that's your deck, if that's a deck, right? So I think
deck, yeah.
I think green is a decent support color if it's not ramping / snowing.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. We'll have to see. My feeling right now is that green. So I agree with you that this is better than the other one because I'm thinking that green and snow are kind of the same, or at least if I'm in green, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't see what else green does very well.
No, yeah, not all that much. Like I said, it has those aggressive cards, which is fine. There's gonna be homes for those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we got Elven Bow. Single green mana for a equipment. When Elven Bow enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token, then attach the bow to it. The equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has reach and has equip 3. So you can.
That's actually
pay 3 mana.
Yeah, 3 mana, 2/3 reach. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
Dies into an equipment.
Yeah, I think this is I think it's pretty medium. It's actually a really really nice. Not a sideboard card. You're probably just gonna play this if you have it, but it's really really annoying against any deck that's trying to fly over you. Which I don't know how many decks are actually trying to fly over you, but just all of your creatures eventually having reach is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give this replacement level. Like, you're never gonna like desire this, or it's not rawly powerful. You know,
I'm giving it role player in green. I think it's
sure, yeah.
I think it's fair. Like, I feel like it's just a cut above a type of card.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's just I don't know. I'm just never going to be excited to play that card.
I agree with that. Finn the Fang Bear is next. 1 in the green for a 1/3 legendary creature, human warrior with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters.
So there's no poison at common, which is worth noting. Sorry, no Death Touch at common. Also no poison though. So basically, this is like a 1/3 Death Touch, which is a good stat line. Like, that just straight up is a good stat line. So I'm happy about that. And then, like, if this hits 5 times, you win the game.
But it won't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
you get Voranklex. That's the dream, right?
Right, Voranklex, exactly. I'm happy with this stat line in my defensive, like, Grampy Snow decks.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like this feels rewardy role player for being green.
I agree with that. All right, next up we got Path to the World Tree. I won't say it. I won't say, oh, this is an Ethan card. So we got.
But you did. You already said it.
When Path to the World Tree enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card and reveal it. Put it into your hand and shuffle your library. Then it has a 7-mana activated ability, 2 white, blue, black, green, red. Sacrifice Path to the World Tree. You gain 2 life. You draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. Path to the World Tree deals 2 damage up to 1 target creature, and you create a 2/2 green bear creature token.
This is a role player in a multicolor deck.
Yeah, I think this is decent. Like, I think so. A lot of your snow decks are going to be.
For those listening on the podcast, Alex is holding back a smirk right now, and I don't know if that's about me.
I'm just smiling. I just like to smile.
Just a happy boy. Just a happy boy.
No, I was going to say, I think your snow decks can produce maybe not every single color very easily, but you got the red, green, golden common that produces Manolith. You've got the glittering frost we talked about.
Uh-huh.
This is a real card. I think this is a real card.
Yeah, there will be times when you don't care about it, but it's like all signs are pointing to green does one thing best, and that's
reward for green.
I feel like I would say role player in green. Personally.
I think this is a reward. Like, I think
so
like
a reward for multicolor green. Then
but like I said, I think most of your green decks are going to be closer to multicolored green. I think I agree. A brain power, right?
Yeah, I agree. Rune of Might, our last one of the cycle. 1 in a green, enchant permanent. When it ETBs, you draw a card. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 and has trample. And it adds that text to an equipment if it's attached to an equipment.
Yeah. Again, not super excited about this rune specifically. I think this is probably the one I'm least excited about the actual effect for, but it's fine. Like, I think this is the one you're not going to be like playing or excited about the most. Like, you're just not going to take this card.
So you just say replacement here?
Then? I think this is one that you're like, whatever. There's actually so I can see playing this actually in. So we'll get to the card later, but there's an artifact that searches out runes, and maybe we'll talk about all the runes when we get to that card. But just keep that in the back pocket there.
Cool.
All right, next up we got Boreal Outrider, 2 in a green for a 3/2 elf warrior. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if snow was any of that spell's colors was spent to cast it, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So if the creature costs 2 in a red, and you spend the red with snow mana, that creature gets a counter.
We were like feeling it out when this was Ben's preview card, and we talked about it on the show. Now that I'm seeing green, this is like the card I'm most excited about so far.
Funny, yeah. I think this is good. I think making all your things a little bit bigger. I think it's not going to be hard to make this work, right? No. I think this is like pretty easy.
Yeah, I would say this is a reason to snow.
Yeah, this is a reason. I think this is a reason.
And that is our second reason so far. Which
nice. Wow. Come making strides in the world, Green.
What Green's doing. I guess reason to snow rather than green. Okay. Next up, we got Lit Jarrah Glade Warden. It's 3 and a green for a 3/3 shapeshifter changeling. And you can pay 2 and a green tap to exile a creature from your graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, activate this ability only as a sorcery.
I want to like this card.
I bet you do.
I just don't think it's good, though. I think it's too clunky.
I agree. And also just like, what it's not that it's not, this is just like another great example of, it's not that it's not powerful or not good, whatever, like you can play it. 4 mana 3/3, has an activated ability, has types, but like, what deck wants this?
My gut just says that this is too clunky, too whatever.
That's what I think.
Too 4-droppy, you know?
Too 4-droppy.
Like, I think this is, it's not, obviously these are not the same cards, but I think of like Skyclave, Shadowcat, where like this has similar things going on. Like, it's like, oh, you can imagine that card being good, but, you know, so I'm going to say this is replacement level.
Oh, and I was excited about this card, and now I'm even more excited about it.
I like this card, yeah. So this is Spirit of the Elder Guard. This is 3 and a green for an 0/4 Bear Spirit. When Spirit of the Elder Guard enters the battlefield, search your library for a snow land card. Could be a duel. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Spirit of the Elder Guard gets +1/+0 for each snow permanent you control.
Wait,
this is good.
I heard you were ranting. It's so rare when Alex like just gets a little off kilter, and you were ranting a little bit about this the other day. I wanted to try and repeat that. But Alex, this is only good in snow.
Oh my gosh.
This is only good in a heavy snow deck.
Yes, of course, it's only good in a snow deck. But why else would you evaluate this card anywhere else than a snow deck? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is a reason for me.
This is. I was gonna say this felt rewarding before. This now feels reasony to me.
Yeah, I think that too. And this is like, so if anybody has played Modern Horizons, there's Abominable Tree Folk, which is a better card than this. It didn't search up a land, but it like tapped something down and had trample and got giant. The toughness grew. Not saying that card is close to this card, but you'd be surprised at how, like, often when I played that card, I was like, oh, it's just bigger than I thought it would be. Like, counting snow lands and counting other snow creatures adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This is going to be 4/4 a lot of the time in your snow deck. And going to 5, going to 6.
Yeah.
Right. And it draws you a card.
And I guess this card makes me like the green rune a little bit more.
Maybe, yeah. You know? A little bit of synergy there.
All right, our last uncommon here is Rootless Yew. 3 green, 5/4 Tree Folk. When it dies, search your library for Ravenous Landworm. No, search your library for a creature card with power or toughness 6 or greater, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library.
I mean, yes, like there's basically no other cards that the search is outside of rares, right?
That's kind of good, right? 5 mana 5/4 dying into finding a 6/6?
Yeah, I think this card's okay. I think this card's still pretty replaceable.
Yeah, it's I think it was in M21, the 3 mana. It was a 3 mana 1/1 uncommon that searched up a 6-drop, 6 CMC or more.
Right.
And that was a reprint, and I was like, oh, sick. There's like there's Dreadmaw, and so you just always can get Dreadmaw at common. You just never cared about that. That was mostly because it was attached to a 3 mana 1/1, and green was aggressive. I don't know. This feels a cut above replaceable to me.
Yeah, I agree. Cut above replaceable, but I'm just like never taking this card early. At least me personally, but I don't think it's a card you want to take that early.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what's our first for our rares? Elvish War Master. This is 1 and a green for a 2/2. It's an elf warrior. Whenever one or more elves enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. This ability triggers only once per turn. Okay. It has 7 mana, 5 green. Elves you control get +2/+2 and gain Death Touch until end of turn. Does this trigger off of itself? No, it can't. No, there's no way. There's no way it does. Does it?
Holy crap. Right? Yeah, it triggers off itself whenever one elf enters the battlefield. So this is a 2 mana 2/2 that comes into the 1/1.
Other. There's a word.
Oh my god, there we go.
Yeah. There's a word in there. It's a very important word.
So
anyway,
2/2.
Okay, now we are evaluating this card properly.
This still seems like a reason to elf / shapeshifter to me.
Yeah, it's not every single elf is a Dwynen's elite, right? Like, yeah, this is nice.
So when you take this first, I do feel like you're already thinking I want to be blue green or blue black.
Yep.
Or sorry, green blue or green black rather.
This is also nice because there's like a decent amount of recursion in green and black, right? So like if they kill this early, like you can just get it back later to use your anthem effect or whatever. You know?
Right. Yeah.
All right, this one.
Yeah, in Search of Greatness. This is green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying its mana cost. If you don't, scry 1.
This card is not good.
It isn't.
It reads powerful. I know it's very exciting. I know it looks like Fire's Invention. It is not. It is not close to Fire's Invention.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, really? Can it please be something good?
I am interested in 2 mana scry 1 enchantment more than you are.
I'm sure I can buy that. I can see that it could be true.
Yeah.
But that is historically not being good.
No, that is true. I don't know, like Search for Azcanta was a card.
Yes, but that was a lot. Like,
yeah,
the flip on that was huge.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to think like, okay, well, Search for Azcanta wasn't a bad card, and that's what this is until Search flips. So then, like, how much mana could I get that would make this a card? And it's just not a card, right?
Yeah, no, scrying isn't worth, like, okay, so scrying in a vacuum, like when we say scry is worth a quarter of a card or whatever, that's just like a general, like, it doesn't really mean anything, to be honest, right? So, like, you didn't put this in your deck to say, like, oh, scrying, like, you'll get a little bit of card selection, but it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, right?
Yeah.
And like, some of the time, like, this doesn't even count itself, so you can't even, like, put something a little bit bigger than this into play. It has to be exactly one more. Right, and it's just like I don't like using it's a bad top deck argument, but I do like using it when it's also not that good early.
Right? It's a bad top deck. It's also a bad 2-drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do we got next here?
Next up was Asika, God of the Tree. This is 1 green for a 1/4 God Vigilance. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. And it says, other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance, and tap, add 1 mana of any color. And there's a backside, too. It's got a Wooburg enchantment on the backside. This is Prismatic Bridge, 5 colors. Legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker. Put it onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom in any other order.
That's really powerful.
Yeah, I like this card. I like this card quite a bit.
This is a reason to green, and another clue that this is what green does best.
Yeah, plays. I mean, it's a mythic. You're not gonna get it often, but like it play. Also, there's like, you know, the legend clause on it. There's a lot of legends in the set, right? There's like, I think 15 gods or something plus other legends. It's not crazy to think that that's not just flavor text. Like, you're gonna have another creature that taps sometimes. This is good.
I am never. Yeah, Chad is already sort of blowing up my spot here. I'm never passing this card.
Yeah.
I can't imagine taking something else. Pack 1, pick 1.
Also, just like the front side's really nice too.
The front side is great.
Defensive 1/4 Vigilance.
Yeah.
That adds. Yeah. Like a lot.
Another god here is Yorn, God of Winter. 2 and a green for a 3/3 legendary snow creature god. Front side, or that is its front side. Whenever Yorn attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. So it untaps itself, but also other snow permanents. And then the backside is Cauldron the Rhyme Staff. 1 blue-black. That's super interesting. So front side is green, backside is Dimir. Legendary snow artifact. Tap, you may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped. Hello!
I think aesthetically, this is my favorite card in the set. I love everything about it. So it gets a aesthetic A for me. This is also just a good card, though. So the backside is Emery for snow.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Which is really powerful, right? It doesn't give you the initial dump of 4 cards, but quite good, right? Quite good otherwise. On the front side, the creature, you know, that can sometimes, like, the front side's a 3/3 that you might cash in 1 turn to, like, get a boosted mana, right? Like, you tap out for a 4-drop, you attack, you untap 2 snowlands or whatever, and you play another 2-drop and it trades, right? And this backside, quite nice. Also, something that we have
kind of sick too. Sorry, is that you can play it as the creature, it dies, and then you can use the black Raise Dead to get it back and replay it as the staff in the late game.
I was just gonna say, something we haven't noted about these cards is that often they're like, one set's good early, one set's good late, but the black and green ones and some of the blue ones kind of tangentially, like there's ways to buy them back, right? So you get to use both sides, all parts of the animal, as it were, with some of these, right?
I love that. Oh my god, that's what look. This man, no one packages Magic concepts better than this man right here. Use all parts of the animal. My goodness. This still feels it's reason bordering on raw power to me, but I'd still say just reason.
I'd say this is reason. Yeah. This is reason to draft a snow deck.
Yeah,
that's quite good. All right. Next up, we got Old Growth Troll. So this is green for a 4/4 trample. When Old Growth Troll dies, if it was a creature, return to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with enchant forest you control. The enchanted creature has tap, add green, and 1 tap, sacrifice this land, create a tapped 4/4 green troll warrior creature token with trample. So many words, but basically it's a 4/4, dies into a ramp card on your land, and you can sack that ramp card to get a 4/4. This is good, right?
This is a reason to be heavy green.
Yeah, obviously you want to weight your mana base a little bit so you can cast this at a reasonable point in the game. You don't have to cast it on turn 3, but a reasonable point. You want to be like 10-7 at least. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Realm Walker is next. Tuna green for a 2/3 shapeshifter changeling. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library.
Yeah, so Vizier or the Menagerie-esque.
Light, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think this is more of a reward.
Yes, I couldn't agree. Totally agree with that.
These cards often play out a little bit worse than you might think, and especially because, like we said, you're not going to be like super heavy on one creature type. Like this is a good elf card because you're going to be able to stock up on those. But like other than that, not as much. Shapeshifter does help, right? Just being able to cast changelings whenever. But yeah.
Someone in chat is asking about, is that like GGG troll good enough to pack one, pick one, even though it's triple green? I would say yes, because it's still good as a turn 6 play.
Yeah.
Like a 4/4 trample is just good at basically any point in the game, and a 4/4 trample that dies into a 4/4 trample is pretty decent.
Yeah, and like especially pick one, pack one, like you can start weighting your picks between towards green. Right, like I think something, this is like kind of a bigger picture concept, but I think something like that throws people off sometimes is just like, oh, this is a double costed card or like a triple costed card. Like triple costed, you were getting into the market of like, yeah, that's actually a problem. But like double costed in your 2-color deck, you're going to be able to cast double costed card. Like you're not committing to anything, and even still, like you're never committing pick one, pack one. You're just taking it, right? Yeah. So, anyways, Blessing the Frost.
I think the fact that when you're gonna be in green or a heavy green deck, you're likely to have both the enchantment aura for your land and the snow mana dork, and both of those help cast it too.
Yep, totally agree. Blessing of the Frost, we got a snow sorcerer here. This is 3 and a green. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater.
That is powerful.
Yeah, if you make your creature.
But like, I mean, so obviously the biggest upside is you pump 4 snowman into this, you add 2 +1/+1 counters to 2 things, and then you're going to draw at least 2 cards probably.
Yeah, it's.
I think the snow deck is interested in this. This is a little bit more gas in the tank, makes up for you doing a little bit of rampy stuff.
Yeah, Argon in chat points out this does not target, so you can't like you decide after it resolves, so they can't like
removal protection. That's nice.
Can't burn it out. Yeah, interesting. Isn't this at least Overrun? I don't think this is quite as good as Overrun. But I think it's reasonable. I would say this is a reward.
I would say reward. I agree. I would say this is a reward for being snow.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Asika's Chariot, 3 and a green for a 4/4 legendary artifact vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green cat creature tokens. When Asika's Chariot attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control, and it has a crew cost of 4.
Yeah, this is nice. So this is sort of like Enchanted Carriage from Eldraine, where that card was like just like I like the concept of that card, just like a vehicle that came around with the crewmates basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think power wise, that card was like a little bit underrated. This one's good though. This one's quite good.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't have the populate ability to copy a token, I think it'd be quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to crew itself, and then like if the vehicle dies, you still have 2 2/2s. You're gonna have 3 2/2s if this attacks once. This is raw power.
Oh, raw power.
Yep.
I think it's just a reason to draft green.
I think this is one of the better cards.
All right. I'm gonna trust you here. We'll go raw power. All right. Next up, Kolvori God of Kinship. What's this?
So this is a 2 green 2/4 god. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, Kolvori gets +4/+2 and has vigilance. So I was saying maybe you'll have 1. I don't think you're going to get 3 but legendary creatures. But she also has an activated ability. 1 green tap. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a legend card from among them. Put them into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is more of a constructed card. I would say.
This doesn't quite do
let's see what the backside does.
Okay.
So the backside is it's basically like a mana rock. So this is the Ringheart Crest. 1 and a green. As the Ringheart Crest enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Add green. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type or a legendary creature spell. This one,
green really needs green gets the worst god. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. This is like replacement, right?
I think so. I don't think you care about this card.
Yeah, I don't think you care about this card very much.
Yeah. All right.
It's fine, but
I like this next one a lot. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, 3 and a green for a 1/1 legendary creature squirrel. Can't be countered, indestructible, attacks each combat available. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card.
Yeah, this is kind of cute. So this is like a Biden of Thassa style card, but like it blocks well on the first turn it comes down, which is nice. I think this is good. This is more of a reward for me than a reason, I believe. But it's good.
Yeah, I'm on reason currently, but I could see it being a little awkward with green doing the rampy stuff. But like the fact that this just makes them have to leave a blocker back every turn.
Yes, that is big. That is
really big. And there's no like, I guess you kill this with the black -3/-3 spell.
Right. Yeah.
That's about it.
Huh, put a death touch rune on this. That's kind of funny.
Oh, sick! Yeah. So I'm into this.
Sweet. All right. Next up on our list here, we've got the elf planeswalker that's been referenced quite a few times. Is Tyvar Kells. This is 2 green for a 3 loyalty planeswalker. 4 mana, 3 loyalty. Not the best, but we'll see. Elves you control have tap, add black mana. Okay. Plus ability, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target elf, untap it. It gains death touch until end of turn. 0 ability, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast an elf spell, it gains haste until end of turn, and you draw 2 cards.
It's not quite raw power, right?
No, it's not like a busted level planeswalker.
But this,
right?
this is a reason to draft green/elves.
We did see a close analog to this in Nahiri, right? Recently, where it's just like a token factory. But Nahiri was a +1.
Nahiri plus, that was pretty big.
That mattered, right? I think this card's actually not fantastic.
You're telling me, well, my gut tells me that this is a reason to draft elves.
I think it is too. I think it's like a good reason card. It's not. I wouldn't put it in the raw power card.
I agree.
Though.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Battle Mammoth. This is 3 green for a 6/5 elephant with trample. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. And if it wasn't cheap enough for you, as a 5 mana 6/5 trample, it has Foretell for 2 GG.
Yeah, this is just on raw stats, raw efficiency. This card's very, very good, right? Like again, this is one of the ones I'm happy to foretell early.
Yeah.
Flip it up. It's just gonna block everything. If they have a removal spell, you get your card back. Like this is raw power, not close. All right, this is very, very, very good. It's not even like you can like play around. Like to play around this, you have to like double block it, right? Like a death touch creature is the best way to deal with this thing. There's not death touch in this set, really, right? This card's very, very good.
Yeah, I agree. All right, bring us home here.
Yeah, last one here. Voranklex, Monstrous Raider, 4 green, 6/6, Phyrexian Praetor, Trample Haste. So a hasty Colossal Dreadmaw at his baseline. If you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead. Okay. If an opponent would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half as many of each of those counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down. So your opponent's sagas go kaput. They don't work. The story's over, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
the story's over. So good.
Your sagas accelerate twice as quickly, and you do get each chapter, which is also cool.
Yeah.
Also, plenty +1/+1 counter kind of stuff. All that being said, like you can get a lot of sick saga value. You could also just kill them with your trample-y, hasty, colossal dreadmaw, you know? So this is good. This is raw power. This is a very good card.
Someone in chat just said charging Monstrous is not a bomb. I would beg to differ.
Yeah, that card, like, I mean, maybe that was a contextual thing just because it was harder to deal with in Exelon. That card was very, very good when we saw it, but I think this card is going to be very good. Like, maybe this goes into the reward, or so the reason category. I can see it's not quite getting to raw power, but it's you know, I think that's here, you know, just like, whatever. It's going to be close enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's green.